The religion that we picked was Buddhism. The founder of Buddhism in this world was Buddha Shakyamuni. He was born in Royal Prince in Lumbini, which is now Nepal, India, in 624 BC. When he was 29 years old, he decided to retire to the forest and follow a spiritual life of meditation. He was sheltered by his royal parents in a royal palace for most of his life. And after 6 years, he attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodhin Gaya, India. Today, there are more than 463 million people who practice this religion, which makes up about 6.7% of the world's population. Buddha explained that all of our problems and suffering arise from confused and negative states of mind, and that all of our happiness and good fortune arise from peaceful and positive states of mind. He taught methods for gradually overcoming our negative minds, such as anger, jealousy, and ignorance, and developing our positive minds, such as love, compassion, and wisdom. Through this, we will come to experience lasting peace and happiness. They believe in the transmigration of souls. That is the idea that after our physical death, our internal soul migrates to a new form, such as reincarnation. All existence is an endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Their ideology plays a role in society. While you're alive, then they believe that practicing the methods of Buddha to alleviate stress, anxiety, and negative thinking is the way of life. Once you do these things, then you are able to make room for positive thoughts and actions. These positive thoughts and actions are passed on to others. This causes the world to help others and do good, and to them it makes the world a better place and rids all of the evils of the world.
And so the thing about Buddhism is, unlike Christianity or any other religions, Buddhists don't press their religion on everybody else actually. And Buddhism promotes education, literature, and progressing further in the arts. And then Buddhism versus Christianity believes in faith, and Buddhism they do believe in a higher power, but they believe almost like a higher power in yourself, so finding self-enlightenment through states such as meditation. And then in order to find the meditation, the followers have to follow two things: the Four Noble Truths, which consist of the truth of suffering, the truth of cause of suffering, the truth of the end of suffering, the truth of the path leading to the end of suffering. And essentially through this, Buddha found this because, like he said, his parents sheltered him, and whenever he was born, I guess the birth givers essentially, I guess you could say, predicted that he would not, live up to his wealthy status, and then they said that he was gonna revolt and not take the name. And so whenever they heard this, they essentially said, oh, we're gonna try to spoil him and show him the things that life does have to give to him. And whenever he was 16 or 17, he took a chariot ride, and on his chariot ride he did 4 different trips, and on these 4 different trips, that's where he found the different kinds of suffering. And whenever he saw this 4 kinds of suffering, it's something that he never had to experience due to the fact that he was from a hierarchy and a higher up class. And through this, he ended up trying to find self-enlightenment through meditation, etc. And then after that, I already said the Four Noble Truths, there's the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path is comprised of complete or perfect vision, perfect emotion or aspiration, perfected or whole speech, integral action, proper livelihood, complete or full effort, complete or through awareness, full, integral, or holistic samadhi. And that's the eightfold path essentially. And through this, that's how Buddhism followers essentially find Buddhism, and how they find the state of nirvana, which truly means you're enlightened. And essentially Buddha found this state because he left his family, his wife, his kids, in order to further find enlightenment. And he sat out in the woods. What was that tree?
The Bodhi tree?
Yeah, the Bodhi tree. He sat out there for I would say about 6 weeks, and finally he broke down due to starvation and everything. And he ate and drank water, and he sat down underneath the tree or the thing said it was almost days almost. And finally, through that state, he found enlightenment. And after that, he essentially said how he found enlightenment, how you find enlightenment. And Kwan's going to essentially show you how to find enlightenment, I guess.
So a cultural impact on the Buddhist daily life would be in daily choices would be to meditate every day, being mindful of their actions, offering food, and also cultivating mindfulness. Buddhists find time in their 24 hours a day to meditate because they understand that it is important. So understanding that it is important, they understand the value and effect of spiritual practice. Buddhists also practice to be mindful of their actions and to offer food. When they offer food, they offer food because they believe it helps find wisdom and bliss. So before they eat, that's when they offer food.
That's it. Well, four truths to Buddhism. Within these, there are four turnings. There are three turnings to the wheel of Dharma and development of Buddhism. The first is Theravada, which primarily resides in the South and Southeast Asia. It is essentially liberating oneself from suffering. Our living right now, our activity, look to see if our activity is orientated towards gain or loss. Monks live to that ideal and pass Buddhism teachings and ways of life down to their students. They believe there are four truths and a singular within the Theravada. It is the only surviving tradition of 30 original sects, which was said to be the closest teachings of Buddha. The second turning of the wheel of Dharma is Mahayana, known as the Great Vehicle, and it is predominant in the Central and East Asia. It makes an appearance in Western culture in the form of Tibetan, Zen, and Pure Land Buddhism. Their ideal is called the Bodhisattva, which means the one bearing enlightenment. It is important to save all others before realizing their own redemption. Their main goal was to unfold and find the hidden gem of enlightenment. The second turning offers no conceptual approach to reality, which refutes the previous method based on conceptual approach of liberation. From feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness are all empty, and in the emptiness there is no suffering. The third turning of wheel of Dharma is called Yajrayana. It has become predominant in India and dominated the Himalayan region and a few others. It is known as the most exotic of the turnings and is called the secret vehicle of Buddhism, also known as the diamond or electric vehicle, because of its indestructible and clarity qualities. It uses aspects of Buddhism and Hinduism. In the third turning of the wheel, it resurrects the conceptual approach like the first, but this logical path is based off of the refutation of the logical one.
My name is Khadija, and I will be demonstrating the steps to meditation. So I'm going to start off by sitting on the floor. You can also sit in a chair, but just make sure your posture is upright and your back is straight.
The first step is to focus on your breathing. Breathe through your nose, concentrate on each inhale and each exhale. Feel the rise and fall of your abdomen. Do not control your breath, simply be mindful of it. Clear your mind of everything but just focus on your breathing. The goal is to achieve peace and stillness of your mind. You can count your breaths to 10 to help focus. If you lose count, start over at 1. The second step is to allow thoughts to come and go. Thoughts will inevitably pop into your head, particularly when you are new to meditation. Don't be upset if they don't. Do not try to stop thoughts, allow them to arise, but recognize they're arising and do not pursue them. The goal is not to have no thoughts, but for thoughts to arise and yet be rendered powerless. Let them leave your mind on your own accord. Step 3 is to learn to deal with common distractions. Pain from sitting as long, sleepiness, desire, and more can make it hard to meditate. Don't worry. Everyone experiences these things. The more you meditate, the more you will become it at moving past distractions. The fourth step is to increase the length of your meditation. Begin by meditating for 15 minutes at a time, once a day. 15 minutes might seem long at first, but as you get better at relaxing and clearing your mind, it will get easier.
These are the steps to meditation.